Welcome back to another episode of Off the Carousel here on the Field of 68, and I'm now joined by new Drake head coach Eric Henderson. Hendo, man, look, I appreciate you. You know, I love you. You know, you're one of my favorite coaches. It's still weird to see you with the Drake logo behind your head, man. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that you are now in Des Moines, Iowa. How you doing, man? Everything good?
Oh, Rob, it's great, man. It's been good. I'm not going to lie to you, though. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind, but the people have been terrific. And I'll be honest with you, it's a little weird for me even not to see a Jackrabbit logo on my gear and stuff like that. But Des Moines, Iowa was pretty special, and what we got going on here at Drake was really just too good to pass up at the end of the day, brother.
So take me through the thought process here, right? Because you've had overtures before. You know, you win 4 league titles in 5 seasons in whatever conference you're in. People are going to ask you about, hey, do you want to come work for me at this other job, right? Why was Drake the spot? Why is this where you ended up taking your next job?
Yeah, it's there's a lot of different reasons, but at the end of the day, it all came down to a couple different things. Number one, like did we feel like the support the for the program, both with the administration, with the fan support, was it in a healthy spot, right? And did I align with the administration and what they want to see happening? And the very first conversation I had with Brian Harden, the athletic director, it was very clear if this did present itself as an opportunity, it's like, damn, this is something I want. Just the way he looks at things, the way he supports the program, and then you meet the fan base. You kind of start to talk to the other coaches, Coach McCollum, Coach DeVries, and they're like, Hendo, it's real. Like the energy, the excitement for Drake basketball in Des Moines and across the state is real, and they want to see a consistent winner. And so that obviously got the ball rolling. And then to coach in the Missouri Valley against some incredible coaches, I felt like just a step up in level, as far as competitive spirit, as far as just athleticism and things like that. I thought, man, that seems like a great opportunity for me. And then I'm an Iowa guy,
Hmm.
being a little bit closer home, certainly played a part of that. And then it's pretty cool when you take an opportunity like this, and then you see one of your buddies, your assistant coaches, take over for the program. And so to see that happen, it just all worked out great. And I couldn't be happier here in Des Moines. Still love the Jackrabbits, but I'm certainly a Bulldog now, and I'm joined in this excitement and energy level. I can promise you that.
So you mentioned programs that are set up to win, and that's why you like Drake. I mean, you got some big shoes to fill, man. Ben McCollum was just there; he went dancing, right? Darian was there; he went dancing. Like this, you're walking into a program where you can win, but there's also a level of expectation. Like the last two guys got it done here, Hendo. You better find a way to be able to get it done too.
Well, you're going to have no expectations no matter what, whether they're good or bad. And I'd rather have them good. I promise you that. I want to be at a place that wants to win, right? And has that expectations to win. But I get asked that question a lot, Rob. And at the end of the day, it's really not a whole heck of a lot different than what I did at South Dakota State. I
True,
get
yeah.
being an assistant coach and then moving over a chair is a little bit different, but jeepers, what Scott Nagy did from the transition to Division 1 to Division 2 to Division 1, and then what TJ did in his 3 years. Come on now. You don't think there wasn't expectations on me when Mike Dom was leaving and the rest of the 5 starters? I mean, that was crazy. But at the end of the day, it's a very similar spot, and we're going to worry about what we can control, right? What are going to be our daily habits? And like I told Brian, the athletic director, and our fans, like, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee a certain amount of wins, but I can guarantee you we're going to work our tails off. We're going to play well together. We're going to play a fun style, and you're going to be a proud Bulldog. And really, that's what we're going to worry about. I don't look at the expectations like that and all the pressure that's behind it, because heck, every single job in America right now has pressure.
Yeah, you want that though. Like if you have an expectation to win, it means that you've won there before. right?
Yeah, you
Like
got that competitive
it's
spirit in you. Like I
yeah.
said, you're going to have expectations, whether they're good or they're just kind of ho hum, right? And I want to be at a place that has expectations to win. Now, like I told you before, they have to support you
Mhm.
with those expectations, right? They have to put things in place for you to make sure that those expectations are realistic, right? And man, I'll tell you what, the very first time I talked with Dr. Martin and Brian Harden, I knew that their expectations didn't outweigh the resources that they were going to give us, and so that's something that excited me.
I think the thing that impressed me the most about what you guys, and not just you, but when you were there with TJ and kind of what your staff was able to do, was the talent identification at South Dakota State. I mean, you found Oscar Clough, right? A guy, what he averaged 7 points at Washington State, and you turned him into 17 and 12. Zeke Mayo, Baylor Shireman. You mentioned Mike Dom already. I thought you guys did an incredible job at finding guys that were going to thrive at your level. How is that going to be something that translates to Drake? And like, how do you do it, man? How'd you pull all that stuff out?
Well, you got to still trust your eye, right? You know what you like, and you know how you want to play, and so I've had incredible people around me, whether I was an assistant coach or the head coach the last 6 years. We've always just kind of trusted what we've liked. The guys that you're talking about, Rob. Heck, nobody really wanted them. They either had one or no other offers, right? I was more worried about Baylor Shireman being a Nebraska football player than I was any going to play basketball anywhere else, right? And so I just feel like trusting your eye, understanding what you want, and we really look for skilled players, dribble, passing, and shooting, and understanding selfless basketball, playing with a good pace, and then making sure they're great teammates, respectful, like everybody else, but not compromising on any of that. And then at the end of the day, it's really not a whole, not like a secret sauce, but we want to work our tails off. We want to give our guys a bunch of confidence and let them play with a bunch of freedom and making sure they're celebrating their teammates more than themselves. And when you do that, I think good things can happen for players. And I always tell people I got into this profession to help young people achieve their goals and dreams,
Mhm.
right? And it goes a little bit different now. Sometimes their goals and dreams, have a pit stop, and they go on to Kansas, they go on to Creighton, they go on to UCLA, they go on to Purdue or wherever it is. But if you're helping them in that process, you have to take great pride in that. And then, how we're going to translate that to, over here at Drake, it's going to be very similar. I love the roster that we put together this year already. We got some older guys in here that are hungry, and we've had a great start to summer. We have a long ways to go now, brother. You come to practice, and the mistakes are plentiful. I promise you that. But you know what also is plentiful? The love for each other. And I know if you have that, good things will come your way at some point.
Yeah, you mentioned a bunch of big name schools there that players that have come through South Dakota State have eventually transferred to. I know you would prefer to have those guys there for 4 years, right? But I do think that there is a market out there and a space out there for programs like Drake to be the place that some of these under recruited guys that come from the middle of nowhere in Nebraska or come from the middle of nowhere in South Dakota or Iowa and don't have other offers go for 2 or 3 years, develop themselves into being these high major prospects, and then end up heading to the Big Ten or the SEC or whatever it was for a bigger NIL bag. The same way that there were programs that would develop NBA guys for 2 years and then send them off to the league, right? And I don't know if that's the wrong way to kind of view things, but I do think it's a way to be able to get a lot of talent coming in. If you can say in 2 years, we're going to get you off to go play for a blue blood like Kansas, right? Like I feel like that's a good selling and recruiting point for you.
Well, I don't know if we word it like that all the time, but I also know this that I'm very, very proud of the development piece
Hmm.
within our program, and to be able to help these young guys that are very slightly recruited, get the opportunities that they are getting from our program is pretty darn cool. And when we have conversations with young people, it certainly comes up, right? And they know where players have gone from our program. And to me, that's the outcome is one thing, but to me, I think what we try to sell is more the process, right? We're gonna help you become the very best that you can be, right?
Mhm.
Whether that's, you can get to the NBA from Drake. There's no doubt about that. You can come from anywhere. And if you want to make that happen, awesome. And we'll help you with that. But this is what we focus on is that process. And if it happens to be a shorter stint at Drake and you get the bag a little bit at maybe one of those Power Four, Power Five schools, man, that's a good deal for them, and
Mhm.
that can really put them in a good spot to be successful the rest of their life. And so to be a part of those guys' lives like that, it's okay too. We're not going to shy away from that. I promise you that.
Yeah, we've all heard the numbers that got thrown around for the portal this year. I'll tell you what, if I got that when I was 22 years old, I'd be
Oh,
living in a much bigger house right now. So that wouldn't hurt. I remember talking to you last year about this, and you said I feel like if we have the best point guard and the best five man in our conference, we're going to win the league. So it's very noticeable to me that a guy that was your starting point guard last year as a freshman, Owen Larson, is heading with you to Drake. I know he hurt his knee, right, tore his ACL. One, how healthy is he? And two, he's not really like a layup line scout, but that dude is as tough as they come.
yeah, we're not trading him. I promise you that, Rob. But he's uh, he's doing well. He did. It kind of shook us pretty bad there at the end of the year with about 3 games to go. Owen went down and tore his ACL, but rehab's going terrific. We fully expect him to be back and ready to go this year at the start of the season.
It's good.
So that we're very happy, obviously very excited about that. But he's so diligent with his workouts and rehab stuff, to no surprise, right? But the dude chews nails for lunch. I mean, he's tougher than all get out. And he just really calms things down for us and gives us so much purpose out there. I could tell very early on in the process, and I told you this before we opened up last year at the Field of 68 event, that it didn't take me very long to understand who our starting point guard was going to be last year at South Dakota State. And to have him come along to Drake with us, being an Iowa guy, having that kind of that pride in one of your state schools is pretty cool. And I know he's looking forward to getting out there in front of Bulldog Nation.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for the season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today. Yeah, for Drake fans that are listening to this, you guys played McNeese State, the same McNeese State. Will Wade, head coach, beat Clemson in the first round of the tournament, right? And I remember talking to you before the game. I was like, man, you got a bunch of freshman guards going up against these guys right here. And you're like, just you wait, Rob. We'll be good. Just you wait. And then the first game of the season, the kid goes out there and I think it wasn't a game winner, but he hit the dagger, right? It was, I think it put you up 5 with like
Yeah.
40 seconds, something like that. So yeah, Drake fans are gonna like he is built for Missouri Valley basketball through and through.
That you're spot on right there. When I look at Owen, it's like, okay, he's a Valley dude, right? You know
Yeah,
what I
he
mean?
is, man.
But yeah, he's right from the tip, right from the minute he stepped on campus. We knew that there was something inside him, and his dad was a longtime junior college coach, and so he's been around pretty good basketball for a long time, and he just knows the right way to play. Just takes great shots and understand what leadership looks like, and doesn't try to do too much. But that was a pretty big moment there last year in that first game against McNeese. Oscar got doubled and made a great play, and kaboom! Right, it was pretty special.
Take me through the process of building a roster from more or less scratch in college basketball in 2025. Like, have things finally settled down for you? Like, do you feel like a normal human being again, or are you still kind of running around like a chicken with your head cut off?
I mean, I think a normal human being would probably be a little bit aggressive. I am not there yet, but we're getting closer every day. You know, most of our guys are on campus and practicing now, and so that brings a sense of togetherness, a sense of calmness, right, and routine, and so that's a huge deal. But to get there, it was certainly running around with my head cut off and our whole staff, right, to put together a roster nowadays. I mean, it was unique and especially unique for me and our staff, which I brought three guys along with me from South Dakota State, where we predominantly recruited high school kids. I know
Mhm.
Oscar was a transfer, but you know that was very seldom we did something like that. And so to go, but I did know this, and to be competitive in the Valley, which is probably a little bit more physical than the Summit League, a little bit less scoring, but maybe a little bit more athletic and stronger. We had to go get older guys. If we were going to be competitive, we had to go get older guys that had some experience, but I also wanted them to make sure they had some success. And so we were able to use some of our connections and found guys that we felt like fit our culture, making sure they understood what selfless basketball looked like. And then to be honest, we got a bunch of guys that are hungry. They had good roles on maybe their other teams that they were on, but they
Mhm.
wanted a little bit more, right? They wanted a little bit more. And so trying to instill that confidence and let them play with freedom and within our system has been so fun to watch. And I think we have a very talented roster. We got great size. We got good athleticism. We shoot it fairly well. It's just how well are we going to play together, right? We bring all these guys in from different places. How connected can we get this group in a short amount of time?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question for probably half of the coaches in America right
There
now.
can be, there doesn't even need to be a coaching change and everybody's replacing their roster. So it's all good.
That's what it is, man. That's 2025 for you. All right. A couple more things for you, then I'll let you get out of here. I want to start with this. So, Greg McDermott, you started out, I believe, as a GA for him when he was at Iowa State, correct?
Yep.
What did you, to me, he's one of the best offensive minds in college basketball. What did you take from him? And is any of the stuff that you're running stuff that maybe you stole from his playbook way back in the day?
Well, number one, it started. I played for him at his first head coaching job, Wayne State in Wayne,
Hmm.
America, Wayne, Nebraska, and so that's where our relationship started. And just um, what I've taken most from him, certainly offensive philosophy is incredible, but to me, it was more like just instilling confidence in everybody that's a part of the team and making every single person that's a part of the team feel like they're the most important piece of the puzzle. They're the one that makes this whole thing go. I know I felt like that, and I averaged like 4 points in my career, right? And so I'm sure everybody felt like that. And but he instilled that greatness upon you and made you feel like your value was through the roof. And so that's probably the thing that I take from him the most is try to make everyone feel good and build that relationship with the young people to help build that confidence and help build that sense of I'll run through a brick wall for you. Now, don't get twisted. I could guard somebody and I could rebound. I just couldn't shoot. So I did bring some value, but
Yeah, I
that's
was gonna
probably what I
say
learned.
he always tells us the two best scorers he's ever had were Doug McDermott and Eric Henderson, and not in that order.
Yeah, right. I wish, but yeah, I helped him win a lot of games, though I can tell you
There you
that.
go.
But scoring wasn't one of the ways. But then offensively, in our time at Iowa State, I mean, honestly, we didn't. It wasn't a great like we didn't play. We weren't a great basketball team at the time, and it was just. I always tell people this. Sometimes things just don't go your way, and that's why you worry about things that you can control. If you worry about things that you can't, then life's going to be pretty hard. And we just had some things not go our way. We probably wish we would have made a few other decisions differently, and then maybe they would have, but we didn't. And not to sulk on things and things like that, and for him to be able to respond to that situation and what he's done at Creighton is just unbelievable. And I love the way I watch a ton of film of his games and just the freedom that he allows his guys to play with. Now he joysticks it once in a while and he likes to call sets. That's not something I do as much, but just that spacing and what you value the shooting, those are things that I probably take from him the most.
Yeah, it's probably worked out for the best for him that it didn't work out at Iowa State because he landed at Creighton, was able to get his son there and turn that thing not only into a Big East program, but one of the better programs in the Big East, where he can now go out and steal the best players off his former players' rosters. So,
Hopefully we get all of us get rewarded for that at some point here now.
yeah, yeah, there you go. Maybe you'll get a home game against him. Tell him to come visit
Yeah,
Drake next
right.
time.
I'm sure it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right. Last thing I got for you, man. What is it? What is it going to take for you to get Drake to back to being kind of in that like borderline top 25, that large conversation, a chance to be able to go out and not just make the tournament, but win a game in the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think, when you ask that, a couple things come to my mind. I think, instilling our system of freedom and confidence and letting our guys play and understand that selfless piece and connectivity, because I think the style that we play offensively can put us in a really, really good position, right?
Mhm.
And then defensively, can we match that physicality that Drake has had in the last 3 or 4 years? The end of Darren's tenure. And then I thought Coach Mack's team last year here was the most physical team in the Valley and allowed them to have so much success. And it doesn't hurt that Bennett Sturts was their point guard. I understand that too, but but their physicality really was a huge thing as well. And so I think we need to make sure we have that piece, especially on the defensive end, and then just allowing our guys to understand how we need to play together, and allowing them to play with that freedom and confidence offensively. And that love and connectivity is a huge deal for success. You heard Oklahoma's the Thunder's coach after the game, their camaraderie, their celebration of others is really what made them rise to the top. And that's what we need to do as well.
Did you say the Thunder's coach instead of his name because you don't know how to pronounce his last name either?
Yeah, I wasn't going to chop that up. I can guarantee it.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, man. I'm glad I'm not
Yeah.
the only one. Listen, Hendo, it's always a pleasure, man. It's great to see you. Congratulations on the new gig. Best of luck there. You know we're going to be rooting for you here on the field of 68.
I appreciate you.